welcome to La Bestia Radio for the first time and hopefully not the last one. Paul and King from the Butthole Surfers. Good morning, where are you?
We're in Austin, Texas.
I don't know if you guys saw the eclipse.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, we got a good view of it here in Austin, just for a couple of minutes because it was cloudy.
It was cloudy.
Yeah, but the clouds broke just in time, and so I got a good view of the totality.
What about you, King?
See here, I was lying in the backyard, and my dog was really happy because I was laying down in the backyard, staring at the sun, and he was thinking, "Oh yeah, a solar eclipse. It's when the humans go crazy." So he was soaking it all in. But yeah, I had a great view for about 30 seconds. But hey, I'll take it. It was a good day.
Yeah. But did you guys have the full eclipse or just like partial one? Oh, full one.
No, it was full.
Kind of creepy, right?
It's a shadow.
It's just a shadow, exactly.
But it's a weird shadow. Like it's not it's not like when the sun goes down. It's very weird shadow. I just felt so it was creepy for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like all the birds around me like got quiet. The street lights came on. It was but only lasted for like a few minutes. So it was really strange and wonderful, and it was great.
But it's something like it's once in a lifetime. Like you get to see that once in your life.
Well, I'm going to live to be
enough.
I'm going to live to be 300 years old, so I'm going to get several of these. So yeah, no problem. I'm going to get lots and lots of eclipses.
Okay, guys. Actually, we are live on Twitch, and we have some like viewers like watching us. And some of those have a nice question. So, El Grifo is asking if you guys actually really surf anything besides an ass. Never.
No, we're too uncoordinated.
Well, surfing is difficult.
I wouldn't know.
Great. Actually, Un Cigarrito para Check is asking to... no, sorry, that wasn't Cigarrito para Hacer. El Grifo is asking, what about the legend that you guys inspired the Flaming Lips to make a band? That's true or is a lie?
I don't think we inspired them to make a band, but I think we maybe influenced them a little bit, and I think they'll admit to that.
I think we were simpatico bands. I mean, we're from Texas, they're from Oklahoma. We both came out of punk rock, but we also took acid, and I think we kind of developed in similar ways. So I kind of think we drew from the same inspiration and did similar but different things with the background.
I was watching some videos of you guys like back in the day last night, and it freaked me out a little bit. I couldn't sleep after that. But especially the one of Gibby using a shotgun on Lollapalooza, and I wanted to ask you, so that's a pretty cool stuff, and I admire that because you guys, nowadays the world, I want to know your opinion on this, because nowadays the world seems so like, of course there are a lot of crazy stuff happening, but I don't think a lot of artists and bands are willing to take things that far nowadays. I think probably a lot of bands would receive a lot of criticism and stuff, and you guys didn't care back then. So how do you guys feel about that, like now, many years later, and looking and thinking about that kind of stuff in the past? Do you guys think that would be actually possible? Do you think bands would be or would there be a band that could do that nowadays?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we'd get away with it now. It was a different time back then, and after 9/11 happened, I kind of lost interest in Bedlam after that. But yeah, that shotgun was pretty shocking. It never stopped shocking me. It's really loud.
Well, No, I'm really amazed that we never burned a club down yet. That we never burned a club down. So we got incredibly lucky with the chances we took and what we got away with. Having said that, the future is wide open, and there's going to be like a more amazing bands doing more outrageous things as time marches on. So I think we're going to seem like really fuddy, like old-fashioned in a maybe even now, but certainly in the future, we're going to seem like a really quaint band, a really old-fashioned band. So I look forward to the future. It's going to be even crazier, I think.
Yeah, of course, probably that's gonna happen. But do you think? Well, maybe things are, are like cycles. Probably now it's unthinkable, but so especially now, like people get offended very easily. What do you guys think about that? Like you can't almost say like a joke now. It's not even think of behaving like the Butthole Surfers, but just making a dark joke. I mean, you have to be careful, of course, but what do you guys think about that?
Well, I think that's true. I mean, by and large, when we were making music in the '80s, there was no internet, so we could say crap and it wouldn't explode all over the place instantly. So it was really easy for us to like not give a fuck, if I may say that, about what was happening around us, because we were our own little bubble. We were doing our own thing, and no one was like following us and posting everything we did on the internet. Boom, boom, boom. So we had a chance to say what we want to, do what we want to, and kind of have fun. It was great.
Yeah. And when you guys started the band, what are you listening to? Because
probably Leather Nun, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, all the usual stuff. SPK, that was one of my favorites. Otherwise known as Surgical Penis Clinic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I know that.
They were awesome.
Yeah. Have you released any music when you first met Jello?
No, he gave us our first record deal.
Okay.
How was that story?
And it came about when we drove out to Los Angeles and we played a show with the Minutemen, and then we had another show somewhere else, and then no more shows. So we decided to drive up to San Francisco because they had soup kitchens and we could eat for free 6 days a week. And on the way to San Francisco, our van started to break down, and we got to the Bay Bridge going into San Francisco, and the van broke down, and we barely made it to the top of the hill before the engine died. And so we coasted down to the bottom of the bridge and coasted off the first exit and rolled to a stop in front of this building. And there was punk rockers loading drums and guitar amps into this building. So we started unloading our own drums and guitar amps into the building until someone stopped us and asked what we were doing. And we said, we're the Butthole Surfers. And they said, well, you're not playing here. And we started crying and until they gave us permission to play 3 songs, and the Dead Kennedys showed up, and that's where Jello gave us a record deal on the spot. So we got our first record deal because our van broke down.
Wow, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, not always like shitty stuff that happens to you turns out to be a disaster, right?
We were just really lucky. It was incredible. I can't believe we even lived through that stuff. The 70s were pretty boring. In fact, I kind of lost interest in playing music in the late 70s and put down my guitar for 4 years. And then the 80s came along and things got exciting again. And that's when I started playing guitar again. So, yeah, the 80s was special. A lot of fun.
You like more the 80s than the 90s?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
It was just a bizarre lifestyle. We were all living hand to mouth in a van and just trying to make it to the next city and have enough money to buy food and some beer and some weed and and then by the 90s we were more successful and in a tour bus, and I don't know, I have more fond memories of touring in a van with my buddies.
So when a band becomes successful, so how was it that for you guys? Because it seems, or like from your answer, I can tell that it kind of lost some of the fun stuff that it had before, like being successful, turning in a tour bus and not in a band with your friends. Does it actually happen like that?
Well, at that point, it just became surreal. When you start out and you call yourself the Butthole Surfers, you're not in it for commercial success, and there's no chance of success. And then success comes along, and it's just so weird that you just keep riding it until you're signed to Capitol Records, and then you have a radio hit, and then you're on the David Letterman show, and it just was so weird and so much fun just because it was so weird. It shouldn't have happened to us.
But it happened, and it's like a legendary thing. I mean, there's not too many bands with your stories. It's like, wow, you make something like, for the books. I think so.
What do you think, King?
Well, yeah, I agree with Paul. I certainly had more fun being in a van, virtually starving with my family and friends, the Butthole Surfers, because it was a blast. It was just the five of us touring around, having a blast, and there was no expectations. But it was kind of cool. The more we played, the bigger the crowds got, the more records we sold. And then it was kind of fun at first when we signed to a major label, because then we had more resources. We could do crazy things like record with John Paul Jones. We could make the albums that we wanted to make it in our head. We had money to do it. But then all of a sudden, we made the mistake of having a radio hit. And once you had a hit, all of a sudden we turned from like this cool like punk rock band that all of a sudden was now making radio hits. And people at the record label wanted more and more hits. And we were trying to be good company men, but it was horrible. All of a sudden it turned into this job. And a lot of the fun got sucked out.
Of course, it sounds like. But so how were those sessions like after you got signed into Capitol and you did that record with John Paul Jones and you were drinking those whiskey bottles with him? And so how did the sessions become? So because the things that you guys were doing in the first record sound so like spontaneous, probably is the word. And then after you have a radio hit, you have a lot of people telling you, okay, now we need another hit, and now so how the sessions become after that? How do you try to make a hit?
You're asking the wrong people.
No, I'm asking the right people. Of course, I'm asking the right people. You are the people to ask this. How does the Butthole Surfers make a hit?
That was a question we were asking ourselves over and over again and failing over and over again. We tried to write songs that people would like. And we kind of failed miserably. But hey,
I don't know, King. I was trying to write songs that people would hate. I was angry. I wanted to punish people.
So that's how the first hit actually, came. You were trying to piss someone off, and then it became a hit.
Well, yeah, but. We actually had a minor radio hit with John Paul Jones, the album that he produced, a song called "Who Was in My Room Last Night."
Yeah.
And Capitol Records still didn't know what to do with us. They left us alone except to give us money to record and all that. But then we worked with Steve Thompson from Guns N' Roses fame, and he really did a lot to bring that hit out of us. So, we went into the studio with a bunch of songs that we had planned out and rehearsed, and once we got those recorded, Steve Thompson said, we need another song. And we were all kind of like puzzled. What do you mean we need another song? And he's like, well, play something. I was like, well, what key? And he goes, play in G. So I played a little guitar riff in G. And then next thing you know, it's being spun into a song. And then we spent a whole lot of time on that song. I can remember being in Steely Dan's studio in New York, mixing that song. And there was 2 24-track tape machines and 2 8-track digital machines and 2 half-inch record-down machines. And there was just tape machines whirling everywhere. And it was freaking me out. I mean, we're in Steely Dan's studio, and there's all this technology and machines and stuff, and making us a hit. It was.
And what about John Paul Jones think about it?
What about John Paul Jones?
Yeah, what he thinks on the making of the album, you know, it's he was overwhelmed or.
Oh, he was fun. I mean, he was great to work with. He's the kind of producer that's in the control room for every note that's played, and he scrutinizes everything, and he was super attentive and just a whole lot of fun to work with. And God bless him. He doesn't talk to me anymore. I think he's mad at me, and I feel bad about that. But I love the guy.
Have you any clue of why is that?
Well, he came to town one time, and I was in the studio working on something, and he wanted a guitar solo for a song that he was putting out on his solo album or whatever band he was playing in at the time. And he wouldn't let me listen to the song at first, and I got one take, and I played, and it went on the album. And so when he came to town with his band to play on tour, I went to go see him. And before the show, I went backstage, and they were just about to go on, and John Paul Jones says, "We're about to go on, you've got to leave." And as he said that, he was taking his shirt off, and I couldn't help myself. I reached over and pinched his titty. You know, and we call that a Texas titty twister.
Texas titty twister?
Yeah, it's something you do in junior high school, and that's kind of where my head is always at. And he got mad. He called me a bastard, and he swung at me. I barely pulled my face back in time to avoid getting smacked with a fist. And I don't think he ever forgave me for pinching his titty. I was looking down at my fingers, and I had all these titty hairs stuck to my fingers. It was really strange.
Wow, that's a great story.
Well, so that was something I would never speak to you for the rest of my life if you did that to me. So
Fran, we'll hate you too.
That was the last Texas titty twister I ever gave anyone. I stopped doing that.
I think I did it one time to Fran, and he was pissed off like for a
that
month.
really pissed me off. But so did anyone ever made that to you, Texas titty twister?
Oh, in junior high school, every day.
Yeah.
But on the band, like on tour.
I don't remember that. I think by that point I was really pulling from deep down inside the bag of memories to come up with that. But then, how often are you confronted with John Paul Jones's titty?
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
And what about?
No, I seized on the opportunity. It was too much to pass up.
Yeah, and what about surreal memories? Because I think, I mean, you guys have a long career, many albums, many years, and you should have like many like surreal shows. Do you remember one with like some special moment? Any show?
I remember playing a show in Seattle one time in a Chinese restaurant, and there was only 3 people in the audience and 5 of us on stage, and we thought about beating up the audience, since that would have been something that we could have actually done. But then we ended up going and meeting them and shaking their hands during the set, and then went back and continued playing for our 3 fans.
Do you remember that show, King?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We introduced the audience to each other. Like, Mary, what's your name? Joe, meet Mary. We introduced the audience to each other. I remember a show in Stavanger, Norway, where we played. They didn't know who we were. It was the small crowd kind of hated us. At that point, Gibby said, "Screw it," and he began like harassing everyone in the tiny room until they left the room, and then we locked the doors. We chased everyone out of the room, and then we played just for ourselves.
Okay, was it? Can that be considered a show or just a practice?
It was a performance piece.
Of course, man.
And we like, I mean, with other band, I mean, which one was your favorite to play? I mean, you should have like too many friends. And what was your favorite band to play, like to tour? Or?
I like touring with Chibo. Chibo Mato was a really fun band to play with. Cool. You're familiar with them?
Yeah, sure.
They're a wonderful band and really fun to listen to every night.
We've toured with so many cool bands, like the Flaming Lips. You know, we mentioned earlier, they're great guys. There's a band called Frightwig that you may not know, but they were a really cool early West Coast punk band. Boy, you know, we've been lucky to have played with so many cool people through the years, and as a music fan myself, that's been part of the fun of being in this band. Is just meeting other musicians and seeing them and getting to know other musicians. You know, it's been really thrilling.
Yeah.
I like the Meat Puppets, you know, for instance. You know, it's been great.
Yeah, man. And also, well, of course you guys are excited, but how long has this been reissue of these the very old school records and some other of them been in plans?
I think about a year.
So you didn't care like for 40 years?
No.
Well, we had them released. We had them released on our own label, but the thing is, I was kind of running the label, and I wasn't running the label. I wasn't doing anything. So it's really cool to have a real label like Matador to actually manufacture, promote, and distribute this and get behind it. They're doing a far better job than we ever could. So we're very grateful for their help, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, we will have it here. We will have those albums here.
Yeah, we'll have a record store very soon here at La Bestia, and we'll, of course, have all of your records here because there's a lot of people here that listens to you. And, well, so last, I want to ask you some even more stupid, fast questions, if that's okay with you. Quick, stupid questions, okay? Some of them not so stupid. Okay.
We like stupid.
Okay, great. First one. What's the most fucked up thing you ever saw on the internet?
Donald Trump. Just Trump.
Yeah, that's hard to top.
Okay, I'll tell you mine. Videos of the Butthole Surfers. Okay, guys, what's the best band ever?
The Buzzcocks.
I'll go for Blue Cheer.
Oh,
Okay, what's the worst band ever?
Butthole Surfers.
Come on, you can't say your own band, man.
Oh, but is there even a second place? I mean,
Probably Guns N' Roses.
yeah, that's up there.
What do you think, King?
Air Supply makes me angry for some reason. I can't explain why. I'll say Air Supply.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, have you guys ever been arrested?
Well, yeah.
What for?
I think it was drunk and disorderly. I deserved it. We got beat up by the federales in Tijuana one time, but we were not taken to jail.
What about you, King?
I've never been arrested, but I still have time. So the race is on.
Okay, so you guys have to do a tour, come to Mexico, not Tijuana, that doesn't count, and then get taken by the federales to the Mexican jail.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys think MTV killed rock and roll?
Oh, gosh, I was thinking rock and roll killed MTV. I don't know. Isn't that where Beavis and Butthead started? Was on MTV?
That's correct.
I think MTV killed MTV.
What do you think, King?
For someone who grew up in a small town, I was kind of grateful for MTV to have access to music. So I don't know it was kind of interesting to me, like seeing what was out there. But yeah, I mean MTV now is just like what all reality shows, and I think, like Paul said, MTV killed itself.
What about TikTok and modern, social network stuff? Is it helping or just killing music?
Oh, I love TikTok. I don't know about music, but kind of those cute cat videos, just I can't get enough of them.
Yeah. Cute cat videos.
Of course. That makes you feel good every day. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Last, I will ask you to record a radio ID for La Bestia Radio, if that's okay with you. You have to say your names, the name of your band, and why the fuck aren't you listening to La Bestia Radio? La Bestia Radio.
This is Paul Leary. This is Paul Leary from the Butthole Surfers, and why the fuck aren't you listening to La Bestia Radio?
Okay, now King, please, come on.
Hola, this is King Coffey of the Butthole Surfers. You're listening to La Bestia Radio. Yes.
Amazing, guys. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you guys here, and hopefully we'll get to see you guys sometime here. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Please come by.